Shovavim. Shovavim, famous acronym of Shmo Yisrael Rabo B'Shalach, Yisro, and Mishpatim. And in a leap year, we add Tumat Tetzaveh, and that's called Shovavim Tat. So the remez to this is in a pasuk in Yirmiyah, Perek Gimel, pasuk Rav Beis. The pasuk says, Shuvu Vanim Shovavim Erpa Meshuvasam. Come back, you kids. Shovavim Shmo Yisrael Rabo B'Shalach during this time. I mean, you can always do tshuva. It's always a good idea, but especially propitious time during this this period of time. Erpa, I will heal their iniquities, but Erpa is spelled Aleph Reish. We would expect it to be spelled Aleph Reish Pei Aleph, but it's actually Aleph Reish Pei Hey in the Navi, as if in the language of Rifyon, something which is lax. You weren't so strict with things, you weren't so careful. This is the time to rectify it. The Arizal writes that the time of Shovavim, this time now, is a very opportune time to fix all the different pagamim, the stains that one's nefesh may have. We start with Shemois last week, and that's talking about the Shiabud in Mitzrayim, being slaved to Mitzrayim, and we are still slaves many times to the Yetzer Hara. It's time to break through. But that's how we start this process and this journey. And we end with Mishpatim, and there we learn about Eved, because our essence, and we should feel as if we're Eved, but Avdei Hashem, only Avdei Hashem, not Avadim to Mitzrayim. The Sfarim Magdoshim writes,
the reason why it's as far is because we start with Shemos. We talk about we were slaves and then we came.
We were slaves to Mitzrayim, to Paro. Paro is compared to Yetzer Hara. So we want to break out of that enslavement and become the real Avadim that we're supposed to be, and that is Avdei HaKodesh Baruch Hu. By Ele HaMishpatim, and Mishpatim starts with Eved Ivri, and he is supposed to be an Eved only to HaKodesh Baruch Hu.
What did you mention about Tat? What is that?
In a leap year, it's not Shovavim, it's Shovavim Tat, because we add the Parshas Tuma and Tetzaveh. Tat can also be an acronym for Talmud Torah. That also works. The Sfarim writes that the Shovavim are like, this time now, is like Aseres Yemei Tshuva. And the Tfilas are more susceptible to be accepted at this time. And one has to be exceedingly careful not to be sad during this period of time, not to get angry, and stay away from Gaiva. However, even though many people fast, in our times not so many, but people do fast, one who learns Torah the whole day, or teaches Torah, and that will affect the way he's able to learn, or his patience when he teaches to others, Yatsa Scharo Behefseido, his gain is offset by his loss, and he should not fast. Torah Hashem Temima Meshivas Nefesh, and the Torah itself also can fix all the stains on one's nefesh, and the main thing is to learn Torah with a smada. So one who does fast, if he just fasts, but he's not learning Torah, again his gain is offset by his loss. The idea of fasting is to try and elevate oneself to the tshuva, to rectify, not just to go on a strange one-day diet. Some have the minhag that the weekdays during Shovavim, they will not eat any meat, unless it's from a Sudas Mitzvah. This doesn't apply to Shabbos, only 2 weekdays. The Gaon writes,
from a Sudas Mitzvah?
Only from a Sudas Mitzvah. If it's a Sudas Mitzvah, they will eat. But Stam, meat which is not related to Sudas Mitzvah, they won't eat during this time.
At the Sudas Mitzvah?
No. If it's a Sudas Mitzvah, it belongs to Sudas Mitzvah. So they can eat it at the Sudas Mitzvah, and if they take it from the Sudas Mitzvah back home, they will eat it. But Stam, because I feel like having a steak dinner, some don't do that at the time of Shovavim Tat. It's if it's not related to a Seudas Mitzvah.
Someone brings them food from a Sudas Mitzvah.
That's good.
They weren't there.
That's fine, that's Sudas Mitzvah. That's related. That's a shiarim of Sudas Mitzvah. Rabbi Scheinberg Zatzal never ate anything unless it came from a Sudas Mitzvah, and therefore he would many times not eat for many hours. But people knew, so people there's always something going on. There's a pidyon ben, there's a bar mitzvah, there's a chasna, there's a shara, always something going on. So people always came to him with shiarei mitzvah, and that's what he would eat. Not during Shovavim, year round. We're only saying Shovavim Tat. This is a minhag. I'm not saying people have to hold by this minhag, but there's such a thing. Just want to be familiar with more minhagim and things that are not so common and people not aware of. The Gaon writes that fasting is not the main thing. The main thing is not to say the wrong things during this time. And he says that Tanis Dibu is worth 1,000 times fasting and refraining from food. And the benefit of Tanis Dibu is it doesn't harm the body. You feel great, and yet it does such great rectification upstairs without affecting your body. The Moshe Lev Sasov brings that if a person, the time that he fights, somebody angers him, somebody says the wrong thing, and he is able to control himself and not to respond, that's worth 1,000 fasts. And Chazal say, Kol ha'ma'avir al midoisav, ma'avirin lo al kol pshav. One is not medakdek with others, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is not medakdek with him, and all his sins are erased. But Tanis Dibu is great, only as long as you don't hurt somebody else. If one's wife asks some question, come to me tomorrow, lady, I'm not talking to you now. Not kedai. It could be your chavrusa, it could be your kids, whatever it is. People need to be. They should tell people ahead of time, I'm going to Tanis Dibu if it's okay with you. Chas v'shalom to hurt anyone. But one can respond in writing. Somebody asks him a question that's still considered Tanis Dibu. If he writes something which is chol, but he's writing it, that's still considered that he upheld his Tanis Dibu. The Noam Elimelech writes that one who fasts, and during that fast, he says 3 times the entire Tehillim, it's considered as if he fasted many, many, many times. He brings great numbers over there, a great, great, great many times. So the Shovavim days are very special and very opportune for kapara and for slicha, to elevate oneself in kedusha, in tahara, and in yiras shamayim. The number of days during the Shovavim is 42. 42 is vedibalta bam. Beis Mem is 42 to tell you what is the best Beis. How does the Torah start? Torah shebichtav. How does it start? What letter? Bereshis. Torah shebe'al peh. What does it start with? Masechet Brachos. Mei Masai. Beis Mem vedibalta bam. Speak during these 40 days, 42 days at least. During these 42 days, bam. In Torah shebichtav and Torah shebe'al peh, and that's the main thing to focus on Torah. The Yesoda Avoida. He writes, learning 5 hours with no break in the middle. No talking about anything else other than limud. Not eating or drinking anything during those 5 hours is a great Indian, and it helps a lot to atone for one's sins, and it brings one to do tshuva and great rectifications upstairs. The Shefa Chaim brings a Kabbalah that he has. I have a Kabbalah in my hands from the Noam Elimelech, that one who finds it very difficult to fast, and one doesn't need to fast, finds it difficult to fast, he can substitute it. If he learns 2 pages of Gemara, 2 blot Gemara with Toisvis, it's counted as if he fasted, or 5 dapim of Gemara with Perush Harosh, and he writes that adds and it helps even more than just fasting. There is another segula to purify one's mind and body during this time, and that is to learn a Mishnah Be'al Peh every day, 1 Mishnah. You just repeat, some Mishnahs are very short, 1-liner. You just repeat a Mishnah the whole day, it penetrates again and again, repetition, and that helps to purify one's body and mind. The Arizal brings how important it is to say Tehillim during this time and to give tzedakah every single day during the Shovavim. And there's a pasuk in Daniel, Perek Dalet, pasuk Chav Dalet, V'chatach b'tzedakah purok. Redeem your sins with tzedakah. The greatest time to say Tehillim during this time is Erev Shabbos Kodesh, today or early in the morning around Alois HaShachar. I don't want to say Netz because Netz once should be davening Shmoneh Esrei at that time. So a little before that, at Alois HaShachar, you say Tehillim, and that is a great thing. So there's 2 times basically during the year which are not a Yomim Tovim. Shovavim is not a Yomim Tovim. Sfiras Omer is not a Yom Tov, and yet these are special, special times, and we have to try and take the best advantage of these times to elevate ourselves, to do the necessary rectifications, and Yom Hashem to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu a lot of nachas de kedusha.